Alright. What's up, everybody? We are here with a first-person view cast of Reynor's Protoss. That's right, we have a world champion, 2 times runner-up. That's right, he has been in the grand finals of the last 3 world championships as Zerg. And in the last month, he has been trolling with Terran and Protoss, having fun in his stream, playing tournaments, and we're going to watch exactly how good he is with Protoss right now. And we know he's bloody good because he's been beating top players with his off races. He almost took out Maxpax with his Terran last week, and now here he is playing Protoss and kicking butts as, is that my internet lagging? No, that's his in-game connection lagging. The VOD was still going there. He's playing right now in the EPT Weekly Cup, for those who are wondering. This is a best of 3 match up against Armani. He's a very good Korean Zerg player. Obviously, he's not top 3 Zerg in the world, but he is a very regular Codex competitor. And I think Armani didn't even get a top 8 recently or something like that. I feel like he had one really good run in a GSL in the last year and a half. So definitely a very, very good pro Zerg player. And we're just going to be watching and going dude, how are you so good with your off race? What I've noticed so far in the little bits I've watched of his Protoss, his Terran, his micro and mechanics are insane. We know Reynor's fast and fluid, but dude, some of the details that he does, and he's just constantly looking for these little micro opportunities, is incredible. And I was actually saying, hey man, dude, your Protoss is looking really lit. It's kind of chaotic, but man, you micro a lot more than most people do with their off race. And he's like, dude, there's so much stuff to micro. It's so much fun. He's like, Protoss has so many fancy little tricks, and that seems to be what he's enjoying. Right now, you can already see he's blocking the minerals there to stop Armani from mining. Goes for the Nexus into Cybercore, super crisp opening. And you can see how he's trying to deny the mining on 2 mineral patches at once. Now, for those who don't know, the way this works is only 1 worker can mine on the minerals at a time. So if you mine from it, their drone can't mine from it. And they have to spam click on the minerals to keep the drone trying to mine. And just before he mines 5 minerals, he breaks off. So he doesn't actually ever harvest 5 minerals, but he just kind of harvests off the patch and occupies it. And you can see already some of the drones are bouncing around inefficiently between these patches. So I think he's already winning this micro battle against Armani. They'll both be playing on the North American server here. This is the NA EPT Weekly, so they'll both be playing with quite a lot of lag on the central US server. Okay, so Probe's moving around. He's going to go Stargate here. He's delayed Warp Gate. Very crisp. And we can see mechanically, his control groups are just up here behind my head. So I might actually... basically, his next eye are on number 1, guys. I know. Wrong way. There you go. So it's Nexus number 1, Gateways number 2, and then he's got Adept number 3, Probe number 4. Obviously, his in-game sound is very quiet, guys. And we can just hear a little bit of his music in the background. I don't want to turn it up too loud because obviously I'm not really sure if his music is legit or not and if this is going to be ending up getting the video blocked, but fingers crossed we get to see it. The Adept comes in, chills out, says, okay, there's a queen there, confirms there's the 3rd base, sends the Adept in to scout, immediate chrono on the Oracle. Dude, how many games has he practiced? This is the way he's bouncing between his tasks. This looks super ironed out. I don't see a single moment where it feels like he's had to think about anything. But at the same time, Reynor is just such a fast and fluid StarCraft player. He might have gotten to this level in not that many games. Wow, so clean so far. Adepts in the wall, Oracle coming out, his other Adepts coming home. And a slight supply block here on 46. I'm not... yeah, so he does hit a slight supply block. Pylon finishes, though. So it was about 4 seconds of supply block, maybe 5 seconds at most. Not too bad. Most of his buildings were still producing during that. I think he missed maybe half of a probe. Oracle dives. Here we go. Oracle and Adepts. You can see he's constantly monitoring both situations at once. Dude, and that's the thing. And puts the Nexus down. And he's getting 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god, 4 drone kills. He's got a Phoenix on the Overlord as well. Dude, this is so clean. Okay, Adept in the wall. He fixes that up. Those Adepts in between the Nexus and the Pylon. He does the really shitty Pylon positioning that a lot of Protoss players do, but oh, a lazy F2 there. And finally, we get to see the first mistake here from Reynor. So this is the first mistake. His Oracle already did good damage, but obviously you do not want to be losing that. Now he's going 2-star Phoenix, guys. So losing that Oracle is a real bummer. That's his one piece of kind of pressure and scouting here. And he's going to try and bank up about maybe 8 Phoenix and then fly out across this map and see what damage he can do. Shield battery goes down in the 3rd mineral lane. I hate this pylon positioning. The reason, guys, is because it's on the corner of the Nexus. And the Nexus has a curved edge on the corner. Same with hatcheries, same with command centers. So if you're going to build a pylon to create a little gap between the pylon and the Nexus, you want it to be smack bang in the middles of it. If you put it on the corner, you're creating a big area where Zerglings can easily get around your Adepts. So if this was mass Zerglings trying to overwhelm his third, it would have presented a big angle there. And especially because he's only played single Oracle and he's lost the Oracle, he doesn't really have any recourse. He has nothing he can do other than warping in Zealots and Adepts off two gates, to try and defend. So 4 Adepts are going to go for a light pressure here, trying to exert some sort of threat. He's keeping 1 Adept there, 2 Adepts in the third, and trying to just act scary right now is Reynor. A quick recall goes down. This is all just smoke and mirrors. He's just trying to keep Armani guessing, but he's got to get moving. It's 5:30. And if he doesn't get across there soon, Armani might just have too many drones. The aim with this is to get in early enough, start killing queens, overlords, drones, and keep the Zerg's worker count low. So I think he knows he's on a pretty sharp timer, and he's got to get a move on. He's been chronoing like mad. There we go. Okay, so he's going to go with 7 Phoenix, it looks like. And he's probing up, does build a Twilight and a Forge behind it. So he's going to transition into the Charge or Blink next. And he's got Pylons finishing right as he hits his supply blocks. He's doing such a good job of riding that supply limit right up to the limit. Okay, 5 Queens. Doesn't want to fight that. There wasn't much transfuse energy. Maybe he could afford it, but because one of his Phoenix was already so damaged, he does back on off. Overseer's scouting his main right now. Notice he goes back, changes the Stargate rally point onto that Overseer. Ooh, does not want to lose this red hit point Phoenix. So he's playing it a bit more conservative. He's not diving for damage. He's saying, no, I got to keep these Phoenix alive. Come on, man. Not going to throw them away. I would be way more eager. I'd be like, do damage now. Ree! And I would have already lost 3 Phoenix. But he's apparently saying, look, if you've massed that many Phoenix and I've seen Roaches and Lings on the ground, I don't think I need to do that much damage because you're playing so safe. So he's kind of saying, if you play safe, I should also play safe. He pulls back the red hit point Phoenix. Oh, he's doing some really nice micro here. Dude, rotating the weak ones to the back. Templar Archives behind, so it is going to be Charge +1 and Templar Archives. Question is, did he start Charge? He didn't start Charge. Oh, but he notices. He taps it there, puts down 2 more gateways, starts Charge. He sees the Phoenix. Okay, so he might be up against Corruptor play. That's interesting. Definitely something where Corruptors can beat Phoenix, but if you get enough Phoenix, it can turn very south because Phoenix can move and shoot. So if the Corruptors overextend, your Phoenix can hunt them down, right? Likewise, if you have a few Archons on the ground, can be massive. A few Archon hits could be huge in this. So the Phoenix rotating around. 3rd base fully saturated. 4th base on the way as well. He's got a good amount of static defense. He has very little ground army right now. But yeah, Archons are going to be the first thing he goes for. And that makes a lot of sense considering the situation we've seen. Queen gets picked up. You see how quickly 10 Phoenix can kill a Queen. And he's up to 12 Phoenix. Man, that's a crazy Phoenix count. And he's still building them. He's still building them. He's going 14 Phoenix. Oh, man. I would be so worried if the opponent was playing like Hydra Bane or something. But I guess that's why he's got all the static. Unfortunately, guys, he locked his Archon in that 3rd base. So that Archon is like a fancy missile turret / cannon right now. Notice how it's just stuck in there. He wants to start Storm, but he didn't quite have 200 gas. So he needs to go back and actually click that again. Transferring workers over. 2nd Forge on the way. Does he realize? Yeah, and he realizes. He's so good at noticing, man. So many players, if they, what happened is he clicked the Templar Archives, clicked Storm, and he was at 195 gas. He was just short of gas. Most players wouldn't notice. They would assume Storm has started. Yet somehow Reynor's very good at jumping back and monitoring his structures and the fact that everything's happening. This is really cool. Reynor's not a player you see forget an upgrade for 5 minutes straight very often. Now he's got a Warp Prism coming out. He's going to use that to get that Archon out of there. It's an AoE short range cannon, Twitch chat says. Yeah, basically. It's a flame turret, guys, that shoots up. Okay, wow, fully saturated 4th base. He's starting to he's got a pack of Stalkers. Now, you might be like, why Stalkers? I think it's just to have something that shoots up versus the Corruptors, guys. I don't think he really wants to play... He actually has Blink. Oh, so he even went Blink. I wonder if he was planning to play Blink, because Blink Archon Storm, what a fascinating style. I guess it makes sense, because a lot of people are going to just go like Ravagerling Bane, and having Psy Storm with Blink Stalkers is such a destructive composition versus that. Stalkers do really well versus Roaches and Ravagers with Micro. Add Storm to clear up Mass Ling, Banelings, any clumped up Roaches or Ravagers. He's going to go for a 5th base here. Armani's giving him a lot of time. I think Armani's going to need to go Broodlords, or he's going to be in big doo-doo. I mean, he already went Corruptors. We already saw that. So it's a natural transition into Broodlords from here. Reynor should be aware of this, and his goal will be to hit before that happens. Now, one thing we noticed from Reynor is notice quick 5 base, huge economy. He's also going from 9 gateways. He just dropped 3 or 4 more gateways. Reynor's goal in this matchup, from what I've seen, is he likes to make 22 gateways. I kid you not, guys. He likes to get 22 gateways and then just run zealots in while harassing with a splash damage army at the same time. He is just so scary with how he does that. And notice he's got double forge, storm, mass gateway, mass economy, lots of static defense. He wants the Zerg to overextend into him. Does warp in some Stalkers in the main. Stalkers will help out with those Phoenix and the battery to defend. Looks like his 5th base does have to get cancelled there. Bit of a bummer for him. And oh, he battery overcharges over there. And remember what I said, if the Corruptors do chase too far, they could get in trouble. He retakes the base even in the midst of it. Reynor never getting overly focused on one thing. He's starting up plus 3 attack and plus 1 plasma shields, or maybe plus 2 plasma shields by the look of it. So he's getting all these different upgrades. He wants even more gateways. You could see with his money count, he'd love to do it. He cleans up the Corruptors with the Phoenix. Phoenix weren't the most useful unit anymore, guys. Corruptors could turn into Broodlords, the ultimate apex predator. This is a classic Armani screw up, unfortunately. Armani throwing away that valuable unit. He was looking for damage, but he still hasn't traded. So I'm starting to think maybe he's going Lurkers, not Broods, or maybe Ultras. But both of those are going to be going up against a 5 base going on 6 base Reynor, who just does not stop building gateways. He's on 13. 5 more gateways go down. He's going up to 18 gateways. Okay, yeah, and he's going to have the best upgraded units in the game. I mean, he's so defensive, and I think he's kind of looking at this from a Zerg perspective and saying, you know, when I'm playing Zerg, I love when Protoss attacks on creep because I get to kill their army really easily. But, yeah, like, you know what? What if the Protoss just defends and doesn't actually give me an opportunity to fight? Hydras? He is going Lurkers, guys, so he's playing a Hydra Lurker. Armani playing a very mid-game focused style here. And I think it's because of those Phoenixes, but to go Corruptors and then into Hydras, Armani right now is basically just doing every single mid-game unit. He's doing his best impersonation of Sue, minus the decisive timing attacks. Roach Ravager Hydra. Okay, so Armani here. I think, honestly, this is a terrible style from Armani. I love how Reynor's playing it, guys. Great counterattacks. But Armani's style looking a lot like what I've seen a lot of the Koreans do recently, which is Roach Hydra into lose the game. Oh, wait, there is a Lurker flank. Okay, I take it back. 6 around. Lurkers from behind. Roach Ravager Hydra link from in the front. Okay, I was thinking, how are you ever going to force a good fight with this? Armani's like, hold my beer, pig. Shut the fuck up. Gets in there, gets a sick fight. Very well done. And Reynor, he's got to quickly reproduce. Luckily for him, he has 4,000 minerals. And 19 gates. 19! Oh my god. Dude, 19 gateways? Okay, look at his supply. He's remaxed. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so it's a big Lurker Hydra push. I mean, Archon is not that good versus Phoenix can pick them up, which is nice, but I like the Zealot run by. He's going to have to just buy time with that army on the left. Keep forcing the Lurkers to burrow and pulling back. I assume those Lurkers have Hive upgrades, but we don't know. Observers are just coming out now. Oh, those upgrades for the Zealots mean they're going to rip and tear, dude. Those are basically going to be Doom guys up against the weak-ass little fucking Zerglings. So for those who don't know, you could have a Zergling with like +2 melee or something. But does he really even have melee upgrades? Reynor hasn't been checking. He hasn't been clicking it. But think about it. You got 3/3/3 Zealots, which Reynor's heading towards. They're going to smash against those Zerglings because every armor upgrade is basically removing an attack upgrade from the Zerglings. Adrenal Glands is amazing. So if it's similar upgrades, Adrenal Glands, Zerglings, wreck Zealots. But in this scenario, his Zealots should trade very well. Against the Lurkers, though, he has nothing. Carriers are coming out. He's going to try and transition Carriers, which is a good way of dealing with Hydras. But Reynor is going to lose that base on the left side. His job is to make sure this doesn't happen quickly. He can't let him get any deeper than that. So he's just trying to slow him down, send the Zealots, and maybe Armani can't keep up with this giant Protoss economy, not to mention the efficiency of these Zealot run-bys. He's thinking about coming in with a flank. You can see Reynor setting up units on the right side. He's pulling back. Finally, he abandons with the probes. I think most players should have pulled back away earlier, but because Reynor's so tight mechanically, I think it might be okay that he's hung around this long. Still a scary moment here. Carriers do come in, and they headbutt forwards a little bit. Don't think he has any observers there. And oh, that's a problem for him. Marnie getting in there with the Zerglings, the lurker push here. Unfortunately, he doesn't have many Hydras though. The Zealots, can they defend that base? It looks like some probes will go down on that right side. The carriers though, not really contested. There's not much that shoots up for Armani. He might be forced back into Corrupt as that bottom right base is still compromised in that it doesn't have any static defense, but there's army out in front of it. Mostly Zealot, Archon, a handful of Phoenixes and carriers. Reynor continues to expand at lightning pace. He says, I will just have more stuff than you at every stage of this game. More observers are coming out. He needs that detection right now. He's trying to group up on this right side. And this is still a situation where I think Armani will be wanting to get into probably Ultras would be the best case here. There's no Immortals on the field, only one Robo. I keep talking recently about how Ultras are the most underrated unit, and I think in this matchup, because Protoss players are so light on Immortals at the moment in the meta, they're like all Zealot Archon, all flying units, or Zealot Archon flying units, Storm. There might be a few Immortals at most. I do think Ultras is the most mobile, efficient way to crush these sort of armies. If you get a lot of Ultras out, their Zealot heavy is not going to do very well. Corruptors come in, get one carrier. The Lurkers are going to burrow on top. Armani with what looks like a good fight, but oh, his Lurkers do die there. And his Corruptors took some big splashies. Now, a few Archons do die, but the Zealots are coming in, and that Zealot reinforced. Reynor is never not maxed. He's going to out-Zerg Armani. If Armani's not careful, Armani might have been sitting at 75 workers this whole game. And Reynor's been up at like 85, maybe 90, I think. Reynor is just playing an overwhelming style of ZVP, and he's literally Zerging the Zerg player. And this is what Zergs do when they off-race Protoss. This is what I do, dialed up to 1,000. When people always criticize my Protoss because, like, you're not a real Protoss player. You just try to play like Zerg. You just A-move shitloads of Zealots everywhere. And I'm like, it's friggin' OP! I'm like, have you seen how good Zealots are? Now, obviously, Reynor's doing it 1,000 times better than what I try to do with it, but it really does make sense that a Zerg player would try to just use Protoss this way. He's like, hey, if I just, like, swarm you with these little fast guys, it's gonna be awesome. A guy whose favorite unit is the Zergling, surprise, surprise, kind of enjoys massing Zealots and hitting everywhere at once, using that multitask, adding a few of these powerful units, which he's kind of using as a run-by. He actually recalls the carriers there from that top left, by the way. He's still expanding in the middle of it. Dude, what a sicko. Oh, he's such a sicko, dude. This is great. This is such good play from Reynor. I'm loving it right now. So he's just gonna, he's like, you know what? I have 22 gateways. You guys can see it just next to my head here. 22 gateways on control group 2. And that's all you need, man. Just 22. And look at that. He grabs those Zealots. He steals those onto control group number 6. Number 6 over there is his run-by group, splash damage group, and main army group. So he's going to send Zealots around the left, main army on the right. He sees army with his Zealot run-by. He just pulls it back. He says, no, don't throw it away. Let him come back to deal with this, and then we'll send those Zealots back in down that left flank. So this is now the distracting army. Oh, that's a good storm. Does hurt those lurkers. That's a lot of banelings. Oh my god, the carriers do get stormed. There's some Hydras killing him as well. But you know what? Reynor has so much money. I don't think that matters too much, especially because he's got 22 Zealots warping in there and 16 Zealots running in the left side. So even though Armani wins a fight, can he handle the Zealots that come in right afterwards? Oh, there's Lurkers though. There's Lurkers on both sides. Armani, Lurker spine defending the 40 Zealot backstab that comes in literally the moment you clear his army. Reynor's like, lol, thanks for freeing up my supply, bro. Unfortunately for him, the first mismanagement of his economy happens. His gas is drained. He takes another gas geyser. Remember that he did lose the base on the left side. Reynor will need some more gas geysers in the near future. Zealots tearing up the Zerglings. If they get the Hydras in equal numbers, the Zealots can trade very well. But if the Hydras outnumber them, the Zealots just get gunned down too quickly and they can't really trade the way they want to. Now look at this. He's bypassed the spine lurker and he's getting into the back line, the very undefended back line. But now he's going to go for it. He's going to... Oh, that's a slow warp in. Oh, slow warp in. Reynor nubbed it. Oh, and the pylon even goes down. There we go. He's like, okay, thankfully that gets refunded when that gets cancelled, so he could do a proper warp in now. Oh, big storm. Big storm on the Hydras, and he's got a lot of carriers. A lot of probes are going down, but remember, Reynor's had a pretty crazy income. Oh, the misclick with the Hydras. Armani dealing with so many Zealots in his back door, and he clicks the 20 Hydras home, thinking they would go up and then to the right, but they went straight to the right. Oh no, Armani. That allows the carriers to get on top of the lurkers. The Zealots, the observers saying, you can't leave. Reynor here actually playing a 6-star. I was so critical of what Armani did earlier, but then once he started crushing armies and defending, I was like, actually, he's really sick. Maybe if he got a Nidus Worm up at some point, that would have actually been able to pile things over and finish him off. The carrier's coming on in. Parasitic Bomb, I mean, it can't do anything here unless you can fly your Corruptors on top of the carriers, and then the Interceptors get hit by the Parasitic Bomb and die. But otherwise, the Interceptors are too far away from the Parasitic Bomb, so all you really do is tickle these carriers' shields off them, not much else. And avoiding the Lurkers up the guts. Zealot Archon on the right side. Carriers taking out the economy here, and I think Armani's lost too many valuable bases. It's only that middle right base that is still effective here. And look at this, he's even focus firing Hydras, Vipers, all the different units. The way he moves around and macros and multitasks is insane here. I feel like Reynor has just shown a mega macro swarmy style of Protoss and is just overwhelmed. 24 gateways at the end of that game. That was epic. Going into map number 2, it's going to be 2K atmospheres. And let's see if Armani can put some more pressure on, because Reynor looked like a god when he got the macro up. But is he going to look that awesome in a scenario where Armani brings the fight to him? Imagine some Lings get in his base. Maybe there's some timing attacks. I want to see that, because people can look god tier when they're not being disrupted at all. But your ability to handle disruption to your rhythm, your flow, when people are getting in there and throwing you off, bringing in unexpected plays, that's what really messes with people massively, right? So Reynor obviously is not going to be as practiced playing Protoss. It's his off race. He almost never plays Protoss in the past. He's been doing it a lot in the last month, but still, a month of practice does not make the same difference as 10 years of Zerg play and being a world champion with Zerg. So he's going to be in there. His probe has been very active. What I like is that, you know, he's doing this micro just kind of rhythmically. He's just like do-do-do, but he always goes home and adjusts his mining, puts his Nexus, puts his Cybercore right on time. So at no point do I see him being a little bit slow on his basics. A very generic opening again. You can see no Warp Gate research. Drops the Stargate immediately on 150 gas. Beautiful opening. He's definitely got the fundamental opening down super tight. He sees 2 Zerglings come out, sends the probe home, and he's just kind of jumping around, double tapping 2 for his gateway, double tapping 5 for his Stargate, and then he's jumping between his base camera locations. Every now and then he double taps 4 with his probe. Now, you might be asking, why is he going back with that probe? Part of the reason here is to make sure there's no more Zerglings flooding across the map, or that those Zerglings were going to change direction, dodge the Adept, and try to sneak into his base. So Reynor here just keeping very good tabs on what's going on with that probe. This was not a lazy probe scout. This was like a super duper pro scout checking what's going on. All right, Stargate's on the way. He's going to go for an Oracle straight away. So same build order as last time. Yeah, you're not expecting that much variety from a guy who's off racing. He's definitely just going to bring out his best build every game. He sees drones popping. He sees a lot of workers on the natural expansion. So all this Adept scouting, it's saying, hey, the Zerg's building workers. If he's building workers, he's not building army. Means we're safe. We don't need to worry about a billion Zerglings flooding out across the map. He confirms that third base is in the triangular situation. Down on that low ground. Oracle comes out. I think he'll be going straight for a Phoenix after that. But no, second Oracle. Okay, that's going to keep his third a bit safer. Remember, I mentioned his third was a little dangerous last game because he only had 1 Oracle and he lost it. This time he's building a second Oracle, so he should be able to defend this third base. Nexus is going to go down there momentarily. There we go. That's a 347 Nexus. Timing is tight so far. I prefer his pylon positioning this time. You guys heard me criticize the pylon positioning in the last game. Apparently, Reynor, as a Zerg player who's surrounded Adepts on a base, realizes, yep, you build that there, you got a nice choke point to wedge those Adepts in. And he's looking for units that are popping out. Well-timed Spore Crawler. Armani's not giving him any openings, but I like that he's not YOLOing the Oracle. Nothing worse than losing that. And oh, good move by Reynor, but Armani blocks it. Quick Spore trick, and all he gets is 1 lava for his trouble. Of course, it only cost him energy, though. He's kept those Oracles healthy, so good preservation on that. He also goes for a Stalker instead of a Phoenix, and it looks like he's gone for a third Oracle this time. Forge and Twilight are on the way. Notice his Oracles are on Control Group 4. He's still got the 2 Adepts on Control Group 3. 1 Adept in the wall that is not Control Grouped. Second Spore Crawler coming on in, and ooh, missed target fire. I think he only gets 2 there. Oh, he goes back for more. Oh, greedy. I think that's a total of 3, at most 4 drones there with the 2 Oracles, and he loses an Oracle. So definitely good defense by Armani. And it feels like it's a bit of a better opening for him than the last time. On the other hand, Reynor, he's got his third up. Forge and Twilight coming in. Will it just be Blink Stalkers again? We'll have to wait and see. Third Oracle comes in. He's going to dive. Oh, Armani. Oh, my lord. Dude, Armani only loses one drone and gets another Oracle in the deep red. Reynor's in trouble this game, guys, because those Oracles are not going to help much in the defense. They're not going to be able to do that much follow-up offense either. You can see there he microed that to make sure it didn't drift too far forward. Unfortunately, though, 2 queens will kill a stasis trap before it can get up if they're hitting it straight away. So Reynor's not finding any damage at all. He's trying to build Stalkers, and what is he going to do? Because he doesn't have the same economic spot that he did in the last game. He doesn't have the Phoenix for control. He's going Stalkers, Sentries. My question is, when do we see the Robo? Also, there's a red dot in his main base. Uh-oh. Okay, shield battery's up. Shouldn't lose any units there. Don't know how that Zergling got in his main base, but apparently his door was unmanned, so he fixes that. Roach Roar and Bane Nest. He knows he's up against Ravager Bane. The double Hallucinate is because one of them can get shot down by spores pretty quickly, but if you have 2, you're going to get a good scout. Now, he knows the lair's not done, so there's no danger of super fast. I don't know how fast became quast, but it did. Super fast Roach Speed and Bane Speed coming in, and oh man, that's a dead Oracle. Doesn't even get the stasis off. His harassment is poopy. 6 minute 25, 4th base though. That's a very fast 4th considering he's already on 6 gases. And this is where the optimization falls off. Wait, what? He's going, oh, so he's going Storm Stalker again. So this is Reynor's style. It's Blink Stalker and Storm. As this like flexible, he can kind of block mutas with the Stalkers. He's got Storm. But then he kind of just goes Zealot Archon off it, right? So it's kind of funny for him. Stalkers is like an intermediary unit that he just kind of uses to get him through this stage. And if the Zerg goes highly aggressive, I think he'll be massing Stalkers and microing them backwards because Stalkers are so good for defending big attacks. They work so well with battery cannon. But what a fascinating style trying to secure this 4th. Now, I'd like to see Armani hit a big timing with the Ravager Bane and also start rolling in on this map. Baneling run-bys on this 3rd base from the right side, really good. If you can break the rocks on the left, attack there. Try to do some lings up the guts into the natural potentially. Bane drops would also be amazing. I mean, just defending Bane drops and multi-prong Ravager Bane with this army is going to be tough if Armani finds the window. But right now, Armani's droning. And yet there's no hive. So this is where I've got to be critical of Armani. Because the thing is, if you're still droning 8 minutes into the game, that means you're going to like 95 workers. But if you're not going hive, you're letting the Protoss max out on what is going to inevitably a higher tier army than yours, right? Now, Reynor's doubling down on static. So I think because he sees no hive, he's like, okay, you're just going to try and swarm me with endless waves of Ravager Bane. I just have to split up my Storm, my cannons, batteries, my army, and defend. But if there's a hive on the way as Reynor, you're like, crap, I need a 5th base and to go like really high up the tree, or I need to hit you before you get like Brood Lords or Ultras out, because all those things, they counter what I'm doing. Maybe I need to go triple Robo Immortal. There's a lot more things you need to worry about as a Protoss at Hive Tech. A Lair Tech Zerg player is not that scary because you know that they're kind of like locked into Barbarian mode, right? They're like, me make big stick, hit you on head. And you're like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I have like literally the most technical arsenal in the game. We're kind of okay with that. If I know you're just making Ravagers and Banes, I'm really not that worried. Now, is he making a Phoenix right now, or is that an Oracle for Vision? I'm not quite sure. Army coming up the middle. First vision of what's going on. Nice force field. And, oh, High Templar, good Storm. And, yeah, very nice. Those High Templar will defend. Army on the left side coming in. Ravagers, Banes, all sorts of stuff. He's got 1 High Templar there. Good Storm. Banelings are going in the right side. Baneling drop just took out his 3rd mineral line. His 3rd mineral line just got completely cleared, guys. It's going towards his natural now as well. But look at the multitask. He doesn't stare at any one area. His natural's about to take a big hit, though. Ooh, okay, no, he cleans it up. I don't know if there's any Banelings left in there, but he does clean up that Overlord, which is pretty good. He's got these High Templar on this side. Army on the left is just going to be a bit more of a mixed hodgepodge of Stalkers. Right side, he has a Warp in and a bunch of High Templar. So he defends the first waves. He's got to transfer workers. He does that. Looks like he's still on about 72 workers here, and he's even reprobed instantly and takes a 5th. For Reynor at his defense simulator here, he says, let's abuse the power of Protoss, dude. He's going to keep making those upgrades. He just started +1 plasma shields and +3 attacks. So Reynor going to add those shields in with the double forge upgrades. He's supply blocked right now. So he actually can't warp in to defend that, which is a big bummer for him, but having the safety cannon in each mineral line is huge. Oh, that's a bad Baneling run by Armani. Was like, okay, I've got Lings in 2 bases at once. There's no way he's watching. Reynor is always watching. He's got such great awareness. Those probes, though, are going to get blown up. Big booms, big booms, big booms. Good spready, good spready. At least the Banelings will take a lot of their lives to kill them. But that is great damage by Armani, and Reynor right now is scrambling. This is where most players would fall off, and because there's too much chaos. I look at the speed Reynor's playing at. He's definitely playing a lot faster than he was. For most players, I'd say they're feeling the heat, they're feeling the chaos, but you know Reynor's smiling right now. That's the difference with Reynor. You put him in a chaotic, messy position, and he loves the challenge. He will not get stressed and freaked out. He'll smile and go, oh, heck yeah, this is fun. Because he knows that he's being pressed to his limit. He thrives in difficult situations, and this is exactly that. This is exactly that, because he can't get a 5th base up. Remember, the Zerg has 100 workers right now, maybe 90. This is a massive income. You see workers popping out at 8 minutes, you know he's got a huge income. There is going to be endless waves of this sort of army. Now, I still think there should be a hive transition on the way. Okay, here we go. Some Stormies. Oh, gets a lot of those Zerglings down. Well worth, well worth. Keeping these armies managed is hard. Notice, guys, he's got 2 control groups. He's got control group 3 on the right and control group 4 on the left, right? And they've both got High Templar in the army group. So he's not able to use army and High Templar separately when you're using different armies. If you're using just one army, you'd put those spellcasters on a separate control group so you can really micro them manually. But when you're microing on 2 different sides like this, it becomes a lot more manual. And this is why people kind of go like, man, why doesn't Mario use control groups that much and top level players? The thing is, once there's fighting in many different areas, they just won't bother setting it up because there's too much that has to adjust on the fly. Great storms, great storms. Does lose a bunch of units, but remember, those Banelings are single-use, boys. They will not regrow. Phoenix will pick up a few Ravages to disable them, but that mineral line... Oh, he got the mineral line out of there! And he blinks the Stalkers to force field it! Oh my god, that was... Guys, instant rewind. I'm sorry, we have to. What the hell? Look at how quick this is, guys. Okay, attack on the top left. He sends his army to deal with it. Attack coming down the bottom right. He gets a preemptive storm, zones part of it out, so he can deal with the left side first of all. Another great couple of storms on it. The Archons and Stalkers absorb most of it. But then in comes the second wave that he scared off with the first storm. And look at how quick this is. He's going to grab the probes and get them out of there. He's like, oh no, Baneling's going to hit. Control clicks, jumps to his 4th, clicks on the mineral patch, and then grabs those Stalkers manually, blinks them to block the Banelings. That is some god tier reactions for a player where this is not his main race. That was absolutely wild. Managing a fight on the left, a defense here, against 2 different waves while pulling the probes away, and he's still, bam, take a 5th. Bam, keep making units. And now he wants to counterattack it as well. Oh my god, Reynor is such a sicko. It's actually not fair. When you watch a guy like, if you're like a hard-working pro gamer who's really had to work his way up the ranks, don't get me wrong, Reynor's a hard worker, but like you're one of these guys who you know, it takes you years and years to like make those big jumps in skill. You watch a guy like Reynor and you just like, it is not fair. We are not born with the same gifts. Reynor is an absolute Chad. Like, this is insane. There's not many players who could do this with their off race with such limited practice, but oh, nice run by Armani. Does force at least the High Templar to morph, but dude, these are so expensive. I really want to see the units lost tab on the score screen. How many times have we seen 30 Banelings go down to a couple storms, maybe kill 1 Archon? The units lost tab has got to be off the charts for Armani. So even though he had 100 drones this whole time, he might actually be running out of bank just because of the storm efficiency. Remember, Blink Stalkers pulling back, microing, not taking bonus to armor, doing so well. The storms eviscerating the Zerglings. And you had Archons in there with their tankiness. I mean, this is what we talked about from earlier. The Stalker Storm style is so good at just flexibly defending in the mid game. And it might be hard to kill your opponent with Stalker Storm, but damn, it's such a good army for holding areas of the map. Now, it doesn't have too much Storm on that right side. Baneling drop comes in. He's only got Archons and a Phoenix to deal with that, so he doesn't have a Stalkers or anything to blink on it, but I think he had a Phoenix, so yeah, the Phoenix can deal with it, pulls the probes back away, sends the probes back in. The Baneling drop's going back in, though! Reynor, and he has to run it away one more time on the left side. Oh my god. Defending on the right, though. Armani always attacking in multiple areas. He once again runs the probes. The Banelings, they get a few of the probes, but not too many of them. Once again, he keeps his probes alive. He does lose a Nexus, though. Finally, some damage going in. I don't think the Baneling drop got any damage to him, though. He's going to send a Prism in. Unfortunately, I think he misclicked that too deep. Yeah, there's Queens on the edge as well, so Okay, there we go. Pulls it back. Nicely done. Archon Stalker trying to pull back. Sieging up the Warp Prism there. He's going to get a big Zealot counteract. And he's actually chasing. He senses now might be his time. 13 gate Zealot. Remember, he's got like 3/2/2 upgrades on these Zealots. They are going to start tearing up the Zergling rally. He's pushing the right side with Archon Stalker at the same time. Is this a bit too ambitious, or can he actually push over Armani? He decides to pull back and wait for Storm. And I think that's the good call. But as Prism does go down, he's got the base up on the left side. It is mine. But he's got to be a little careful because he does not necessarily have the same bank Armani does. We have to imagine Armani has a 6th base in the bottom right, if not a 7th base. And that Armani is able to take these trades because he set up such an economic advantage. A few of those probes will be going down there, but good probe pull. You see how every time, the way he pulls, guys, control-click the probe, camera location to another base, click on the minerals. So they all just phase through the enemy units and get out of there. Need some more Psystorm here. Does lose an arc on there to the Biles. And he will take control of that watchtower one more time. Prism in the bottom right. Like I said, you've got to imagine there's at least one, if not 2 bases in the bottom right of this map. Armani still on a very high drone count. He's taken no drone losses in the longest time. It's a mass Archon army with some Stalkers and a whole bunch of Storm backing it up. Zealots in the bottom left should be taking it out. He tried to do a Prism pickup on a weak Zealot there. The attention to detail in a chaotic situation where your mind's racing, but oh, his mineral line gets wiped. He lost at least half that mineral line before pulling sneaky Baneling run by, but he's found the mineral line in the bottom right, and in the top left he's pushing as well. He loses one base in mining, but right now Armani is in trouble. He's shoving in on top of these bases. He kills one of the bases. The Zealot's causing trouble. Mutas have been built there to deal with the Prism. Oh, nice blink. I cannot believe he's handling this. He's transferring workers in the middle of a 3-pronged fight and defending Banelings. He's warping in more units. He's rallying them into that bottom right base. Another Zealot wave will be hitting there. He's still trying to manage his economy a little bit in the midst of it. He has such an all-encompassing view of the game. The Banelings, though, the Banelings do force all of those high-energy High Templar to morph into Archons, but it's only Ravagers left, and when they don't have anything else guarding them, the Stalkers blink forward, the Archons come in. Zealots are now arriving at that base in the bottom right. If those Zealots are overwhelming, and they are, it's an undefended base. That's huge critical damage. Even if this army goes down, if he can kill 10 more drones in that bottom right, or even the hatchery, which he's easily going to get, and he's not even going to lose the Archon army. Armani's out of money. He's already lost those 2 bases on the left. A lot of his production, and my God, what a delicious series of plays here by Reynor. Defending so many Baneling run-bys. We see a Great Aspire that never got to get used here. That would have been the next step for Armani. Maybe there was a chance to transition into it earlier. Armani went for the just power overwhelming Baneling drops, Ravagers coming in, Banelings coming in. And you know what? Reynor, we said, how's he going to do when he's under pressure, when the opening isn't as good? Apparently, it's pretty insane. The constant awareness, the number of times Armani would shove in with his front army to scare Reynor, and Reynor would still notice the Baneling drop coming in on another angle and pull the probes. And he just has this constant bouncing between tasks. It feels like he is immune to tunnel vision. Almost every player, if something seems important enough, they tunnel vision at least a little bit there. Reynor will do the action there, check his minimap, check everything else. He's just so trained at this peak level of play to know that his opponents are trying to take advantage of him in that way. Don't know why he's playing in the Korean client either, or with the Korean language on, guys, but it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. Reynor is an absolute god with Protoss. His Terran is kind of insane as well. And I just got to say, I'm blown away. His ability to take down top pro gamers with his off race consistently, he really is, I think, a top 15 Terran and a top 15 Protoss in the world. Not to mention being one of the very best Zergs. This is just wild. I want to see if anyone else out there can match his off race and match his all race matchup. I'm trying to set up show matches with some of the other players who claim they're good, but right now I think everyone's a little scared to play Reynor because him with every race, every matchup is just an absolute monster. GG, well played, you absolute savage.